Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to a Time for Truth show. And I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. I want to wish you all a very happy new year. And may 2022 bring us a much better year. I know that we're all together on that New Year's resolution. So tonight, we have a very special show because if there's something that we've all learned over the last few years of all the suffering with COVID globally, is how we're all connected, how the world, as large as it seems, is actually a very small place. And the importance of collaboration, the importance of communicating with each other, and the importance of all of us as human beings, that we're actually one big family of humanity, responsible for one another. And tonight I'm very honored to have a very special guest on our show. And we're going to touch on some themes that have to do with global humanity and our great big family that we all have. So Buddha engineer, if you can please put on the pictures, there you go, of our guest, Dr. Charles Olawole, who is president of the PanAfrican Unity Summit Group, a group committed to pursue, promote, and invigorate the coexistence of political bonds, economic integration, educational freedom, and tradition in Africa in order to build a strong, united, and indivisible family of Africa. He is a senior network consultant with a 20-year experience record of excellence in network project management and systems analysis with multiple internet service providers, managed service providers, and global network operations centers. Mr. Olawole led network implementation efforts for different governmental networks such as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Environmental Satellite Process and Distribution System of NASA. He has technical expertise in government security, compliance initiatives, professionally consulting for industry-leading organizations including AT&T, NCR, Bank of America, U.S. International Trade Administration, U.S. Bureau of Census, U.S. Internal Revenue Service, NASA, and the Nigerian Fiscal Responsibility Commission. He's a member of the IEEE, of Cisco, and Microsoft certified with vast experience in the United States and internationally. Dr. Olawole is a visionary and quite a humanitarian with a wonderful can-do attitude. And I want to welcome to a Time for Truth show, Dr. Charles Olawole.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you, Doctor. And, let's get right to it because we have so much to cover. First thing is I wanted to ask you, because for me, this would be way over my head, so I'm really impressed.
Yes.
But what stimulated you to actually become an expert in this network management systems, which is really at a very high level of government and internationally in industry?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a servant by nature, so I'm always I've been given the opportunity to serve in different capacities, and my orientation and philosophy is that whenever there's a problem, there's always a solution. So I am the guy they call on to whenever there's an issue. So and that got me into IT to look at the background, and see how systems works, how things are interconnected. We talk about internet, different initiatives, different technologies, different ideas. Talk about Internet of Things, talk about network security, we talk about all those stuff, and it was in the course of doing this that I actually kind of found my calling, because I was leading multiple projects, just like you just mentioned, with NASA, with NOAA, doing all this, big, huge implementation for the United States government. And I discovered that a lot of the leadership on this project are foreigners. And I saw, a lot of guys from Congo, from Kenya, and I see them, and we have all these leadership meetings every week. And I see that these guys are, just like myself. And there was a time something happened, and a lot of people couldn't come to a meeting. And I discovered that out of the 7 groups, 5 of us were Africans. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, we actually have a role to play in the development of this country. How come we can do the same thing back home? How come we can go home and look at issues and problems and challenges and gaps and see how we can come together and find a solution? And that was how the drive actually began. And I began to look inwards into what can we do. And I'm still the same way. And that brought about the PanAfrican, which is the Pan-African Unity Summit group. And and you're just trying to see how do we, as people come together and serve in each ever capacity that we are given the opportunity to. That is just my humble story. Thank you very much.
Well, it makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show is how
Yes.
we come from all different parts of the world and how we help each
Yes.
other.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
if I told you, but I was actually born in Cuba, Havana, Cuba.
Really? Okay. Now you love food
Absol-
then.
ab- Absolutamente. Si tú me miras
Oh
en esta
wow.
cara, nunca pensaría.
Okay. And you too, if I hear what you say.
Well, I was just being a I was being a Cuban American for a few moments, speaking in his
Oh
original home
wow.
language of
Very
Spanish, and
cool.
you know,
Very
we're
cool.
really, if we look at this world, and especially in the last years, we're multicultural. We have so much
Yes.
diversity, and it's a
Yes.
beautiful thing.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
totally right. So
Yes.
I wanted to get right to what you were going to
Okay.
get into because
Yes.
we have this great continent of
Yes.
Africa with heritage,
Yes.
with different
Yes.
peoples. And what I was going to ask you,
Yes.
what do you feel is plaguing Africa?
Yeah. We're talking in terms of plagues, right? Yes. So right now, like any other continent, Africans are facing a lot of challenges. And we're talking about a continent of about, 1.5 billion people, and with so
Wow.
much resources, so much, intellectual capacity, so much, vigor and, drive and, ideas and stuff like that. And but what is plaguing us at the moment is in multiple phases, multiple, problems. Number one, you have the issue of poverty. Africa right now, with all the mineral resources, with all the manpower, with all the strength, with intelligence, with everything that the Lord has blessed us with, we still have huge issue of poverty. And this poverty is based on multiple things. So number one is poverty. Number two, there's war going on in Africa. Where there's no
Hmm.
peace, people cannot think of economy. People cannot think of, living well. People cannot think of how to advance. So we have poverty. Number two is peace. Number three is hunger. Normally, where you have war, when you have poverty or hunger comes. and these are byproducts of these problems. Now, number four, we have terrorism. So right now, Africa is having its own share of this plague called terrorism, whereby people are being brainwashed, with different religious orientation, and the idea that you can kill a fellow man, thinking that you are doing God a favor, or that you are helping to eradicate wrong teaching, and or to come up with some kind of barbaric way of thinking that you're going to get a reward when you kill a lot of people and kill yourself. You're going to get some kind of 71 virgins in heaven, and you have all these weird stories. So Africa is facing poverty, war, hunger, terrorism, and number five is banditry. We have bandits looting and doing all kind of stuff. So, and all this, when you have poverty and you have war, you have hunger, banditry, those are the byproducts that we are experiencing. So we have five. Number six is insurgency. We have issue of insurgency right now, different areas in Africa. Number seven, you have coup, because of the fact that people are not satisfied with the way government has been run, and democracy is the main thing right now. But the fact is that we still have some bad eggs that thinks that they can take over a government of a nation and through the use of arms. When they do that, remember, they are reversing the trend of progress. And because at this point in time, it becomes a lawless nation, whereby people know how to take guns and other stuff. So you have seven, which is coup. Then numbers 8, we have what is called kidnapping. People are being kidnapped in different countries. Nigeria, for instance, and the eastern part of Nigeria is just kidnapping everywhere. They kidnap because of the fact that there's no work, there's no money, and the only thing they could lay their hands on is to kidnap somebody and ask for ransom. So when they kidnap somebody, then they have to call the family to come and bail them out, and they ask for a particular ransom. If not, your loved one will be killed. So and this has become so popular. And then number 8, that's number 8, right? Number 8 is corruption. Corruption is such a huge issue in Africa, and because of the fact that the system itself is corrupt, and we don't have, we need people with very good mind to tailor the affairs of the country and the continent. So corruption, poverty, war, hunger, terrorism, banditry, insurgency, coup, kidnapping, and the last of all of them, which is the main cause, is bad governance. When you have bad leadership, all these things is just a matter of time. You begin to see all the stuff being manifested. So I can say, as a matter of fact, you can make a very good argument that everything I've listed is based on the fact that there's bad leadership. And when the government, when people do not trust their government, they take laws into their own hands. And when they believe that what is supposed to be the commonwealth of the nation, that is not shared, the right way, evenly, and they believe that certain people are enjoying what everybody's supposed to be enjoying, what is supposed to be the legal right of every citizen, is being in the hands of very few. And when you see bad governance, when you see people who give directives, they implement solutions based on what they can benefit, not because of it's going to be a solution that's going to benefit the populace, but because of their own interest and the interest of their parties and their cronies and their friends. And they do this and not thinking about the repercussions. And you begin to see all the things I've mentioned, and because of bad governance. So right now, and that is where we come into play, we know that we cannot just leave things to go the way it's as business as usual. It is now time for everybody, to come to the table and see what we can do and to get this done. Whatever affects Africa affects the whole world. And right now, Africa is the next frontier. Gone are those days whereby a particular part of the world will have a problem and everybody can just continue as if, it does not concern them. Right now, the world is a small village. And if Africa is not at rest, the rest of the world will not be at rest. So we need to come together and find a way to solve the problem of Africa once and for all. Thank you.
You are so right,
Yes.
and it makes me remember a very tragic incident of the Twin Towers in 9/11,
Yes.
and how, right? Remember that?
Yes.
And the
Definitely.
thing I was going to bring out,
Definitely.
what you said, and
Yes.
I can see why you're a spiritual
Yes.
leader also, aside from all this
Yes.
technical training you have.
Definitely.
Because
Yes.
the
Yes.
thing that
Yes.
was very interesting about that time period, it wasn't
Yes.
just a tragedy in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was it was a tragedy felt all over the world.
What? Yes. 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 It fell over the
So
wall. You're right.
what you're saying is so true. It rings so
Yes.
true because gone are the days where we can pretend with all the advances we've had technologically that we don't
Yes.
understand because we
Yeah.
do. We understand
We do.
nowadays that
Yes.
we're more
Yes.
connected than we ever realized. Not that we weren't
Definitely.
before, but I just think we didn't
Yeah.
realize. That's
Definitely.
your point,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Definitely, yes, yes. We have people who are married to Americans. We have people who are intermarried. We have we do businesses together. We know people who have traveled. There's so many things that American need from Africa. There's so many African need from America, and for it is in everybody's best interest that we all be at peace. And we just can enjoy. And because believe me, it's only a matter of time. If Africa's problem is not solved, they are coming over here. You're gonna have problem over
Yes.
here too. They're gonna come here. So it's better that we solve the problem over there and everybody can be at peace.
Absolutely. I was going to invite you to something that we're
Yes.
having at the end of January. And
Yes.
the invitation really I extend via two of my close friends. One
Yes.
is the Honorable Johnny Ford, who
Okay.
was mayor of Tuskegee for
Oh,
many, many
nice.
years. And
Yes.
also, I think someone that you met who is a Harlem
Yes.
Globetrotter, Mr.
Yes.
Robert
Yes.
Hunter. I think
Yes.
you met him.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yes. 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 Very great man. Very
Yes.
great man. Global
Yeah,
citizen.
and
Yeah.
I know that they both, especially with your insight and your
Yes.
wisdom, and that we would love to
Yeah.
have you there. And
Sure.
I was talking to Mr. Ford the other day, and he said to me, by all means, if you
Definitely.
find participants that you feel should be invited, have
Yes.
them come, be with us.
Oh,
So it's going to
definitely.
be done in
Yes. Yes.
Florida at the end of this
Sure.
month. We'll send you an invitation. And the
Okay.
reason I say that is because, well, thank Mr. Ford and Mr. Hunter.
Yes.
I'm just their friend, and they allow me a
Yes.
lot of leeway.
Yeah.
uh,
I love it. I
but
love it. Thank you. Yeah.
absolutely. You know why? It's very interesting because at that conference, and it's such a small world, we're going to be
Yes.
presenting two solutions for exactly what you were bringing out in Africa. And so definitely it's going to be
Definitely.
something important for the world, but also for
Yes.
Africa. And,
Yes.
what I was going to ask you is because you listed the problems, and I see that
Yes.
you're holding your own convention. I see you're having,
Yes.
and I want to give you a
Yes.
chance to
Yes.
speak about this, that you're having a Pan
Yes.
African Education
Yes.
Summit. Is that right?
Yes. 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 Education Freedom Summit. Freedom Summit. Yes. So
Yes.
yes, thank
Tell
you
us a
very
little bit
yes.
about that. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes. Actually, let me start by introducing my group, the Pan African Unity Summit Group. So we are called PANASOC, the Pan African Unity Summit Group. We are an advisory group to the African Union and other groups like the UN. So basically, the African Union is a group that is responsible to maintain peace and stability in the 55 nations of Africa. And they have what is called the African Union Agenda 2063, which is the comprehensive blueprint on how they want the new Africa to look like. We are all yearning for this new and improved Africa where we can call our own, where Africa will have the opportunity to compete on a global stage, to be able to compete, with the likes of the United States, and the Europe and China and others. So we all know that Africa is the next frontier. We need to have a seat at the table. We need to have our own, chance to be able to compete. So in that case, we as the Pan African Unity Summit Group, we are collaborating and partnering with the African Union to fulfill that Agenda 2063 mandate. So, and we're going to be helping them, working closely with them on multiple initiatives, and one of them is this issue called it, which is known as the out of school children issue. So, if you look at the world right now, if you do a Google search on the out of school children, there's about 263 million children that are out of the school system at the moment, and over 100 million of them are from Africa. You can imagine Africa with that much mineral resources, wealth, everything that you can think of is in Africa. How come majority of the out of school children are still in Africa, from Africa? The reason is that the UN and UNESCO has given a directive that when a child is at the age of 3, between the age of 3 and 5, they should be enrolled in school. You see, here, if you have a child and between that age you're not enrolled, you can be arrested or questioned and stuff like that, because it's the law. They have to be to enroll in school. But in Africa, because there's so much poverty in the land, and the schools, number one, are not free. The schools are very expensive. Even the elementary school, whatever they have to pay. So when you have a continent whereby majority are poor, only the rich can afford it, the middle class can afford it, but the majority of the people who are the lower class, they cannot afford it, because they have to make a judgment call, either to eat 1 square meal a day or to take their child to school. Of course, they're going to go with eating. So there's no food. So now, when you now have those poor people, you cannot implement a law compelling them to take their child to school. The school that is not free and they don't have the money, it's not possible. So that is why you now have that law is non-existent in Africa. In fact, they didn't even know about it. They didn't know there's a law that existed that are like that. So now, having said that, we now have a lot of children out of the school system. If you go to northern part of Nigeria, you go to Burundi, you go to Kenya, you go to all these countries, you just see kids on the street. They are selling ice waters. They are selling snacks. They are selling. These are supposed to be in school, and during school hours, you see that. So in an advanced country, to be seen as child abuse, but in Africa, because they have to do those things so that the family can eat. So because of poverty, you now have that now. And when we talk about the new Africa, we're talking about an Africa that we can all be proud of, with in advancement in technology, in doing, green energy, doing all those stuff. We want Africa, to be able to compete at that big stage and this big initiative and all this stuff. What we are saying is that there's no way we can mold the future if we neglect the kids who are going to be the leaders of the future. And we cannot, because the African children are Africa's future. So we cannot leave these kids out of the school system and continue to build this new Africa. Who are we building it for? So that is what we are saying. Okay, we need to ensure, how do we come together as a people, not only Africans, but the world, for humanity's sake. How do we get these kids back, or not back because they were never in the school system? How do we get these kids into the school systems? That is where PanAfrican comes in. So what we're doing is called the PanAfrican Educational Freedom Summit. So this summit is going to be a big event, and we're going to have it, in Washington, D.C. We want to create awareness into this problem. We want to let the whole world know we are all excited. We are all happy about the prospect of this new Africa that we are building. We are talking about smart cities. We're talking about invention in technology, in agriculture, in airspace, in all this stuff. But we cannot neglect the main people, which are the kids. So we cannot neglect. So we're going to create awareness and let the whole world know this is the problem we're having. And what we are doing, in essence, is that we are creating awareness, and we want a lot of companies, we call them the Friends of Africa, multinationals, oil companies. We see all these big companies, automotive companies. They have plants in Africa. They make their money in Africa. Go to hotels, all those big hotels. Everybody has their, they have presence in Africa, and they all want to be part of the growth of Africa. What we are doing is to create a platform, a vehicle whereby they can be part of this revolution of contributing to the educational system, educational freedom of these kids. We need to get these kids back into the school system. And in doing this, we're going to create a very great working groups. We are bringing, experts in education, to come together. Let's rub minds. We are not trying to create schools. We're not trying to build schools. We are not educational bodies. What we're trying to do is to look at different groups, NGOs, churches, missionaries who are already doing the work in Africa. How do we support them? How do we expand on what they're doing? How do we measure success? Our goal is that in the next 5 years, we want to get at least 20 million children back into the school system, and this is achievable because we put in real, plan together, a real comprehensive plan. But that is our goal. And apart from that, we also say if you don't know where you are coming from, you cannot know where you're going. There are certain individuals who have done very well in this effort, who have helped, Africa, to help with this out of school children issue. And one of them is our president, the ex-president, President Barack Obama. President Barack Obama has done wonderfully well. A lot of people will think that, when he was the president, Africa did not see a lot of changes. And no, what he did was that he's a very intelligent man. He did a real deep dive into the problems of Africa. He understood that the root of the problem was education. What he did was to create what is called YALI, Young Africa Leadership Initiative. President Obama created that to help motivate, encourage, and mentor all these kids, into vocational training, into technology, into all kind of stuff. And right now the Department of State is funding that program, and is getting so many encouraging results. We are seeing those kids, getting out of the streets, and they are learning new, vocational, trades. They are doing, giving speeches. They are doing all kind of, projects, and we are so excited about it. And that is a good start. So it laid a very good foundation. And we want to, on that day, we want to also acknowledge and honor him. We're going to have all the leadership of Africa come together to recognize and to honor, Barack Obama. And in doing this, we have engaged multiple companies who have, presence in Africa to help to sponsor this. We have a company called, First Class Refreshments. They are based in Nigeria. They have agreed to give us 10% of all the profits from that company towards this education. We have a gentleman, Alaji Buruji, who's a very, very kind-hearted man. He already has, that school system, that process in Africa also, doing the same thing that we're trying to do. We're going to expand on that. We want to just, recognize people like that. There's a lot of people working in the background, and you have this, the same thing we are going to be engaging ExxonMobil, Cadillac, Toyota, Marriott Hotel, Sheraton, all those. They have plants in Africa. All these big companies, they have plants in Africa. They make money from Africa. Nike, all those stuff. Banks, the same thing. But this company called First Class Refreshments, they are taking leadership, and they are not only supporting us with their mouth. They are putting their money where their mouth is. They have given us an agreement that they're going to give us 10%. And they understood the importance of education for these kids. The time to sit on the sideline is over. We all have to come together for the sake of humanity. Let us help these kids. You go to some areas in Africa, you will cry when you see these kids malnourished. You see them walking on the street. You see them, when you see them, you know that there's no future if they should continue this way. And that is why you have all this, war, banditry, hunger, insurgency, because of this we are not in school. And when people like that grow up, what do you expect that they're going to do? And when you see somebody who's never been to the 4 walls of school before, they have not been taught morals, they have not been taught, they don't have no educational background, they don't have any exposure, and they just grow up on the street. And so when they now grow up, they become a bandit, a kidnapper. Why are we surprised? And so what we are doing is to, number one, create awareness on this issue and find a way to have a lasting solution, and so
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Dr. Olawole,
Yes.
what you're saying makes so much sense, because if that young person never
Yes.
learns in school,
Yes.
they have a misunderstanding, they have confusion, they go
Yes.
into their life, but they don't really know how to deal with things. They may feel
Yes.
bad about themselves. And like
Yes.
you said, what solutions are left for them? So they go the
Yes.
wrong path, and without
Yes.
anyone there to help them, the end result is what's happened. So I think what you're bringing out is such an important point. And I want to thank you, number one, for being on the show. Unfortunately,
Thank
we're running out of time.
you. Okay.
But it's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. This has been wonderful. This is the way to kick off the new year, and I'm very grateful. And I just say thank you for your leadership and your concern about the world, as a whole, and to humanity, and being a friend of Africa. And I want to say, Africa, thank you, and I wish you a wonderful year 2022. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. And,
Yes.
I give that back to you and for all you're doing. And I see how much you really
Yes.
care. And I want the
Yes.
viewers to take home a message from today's show.
Okay.
Let's take a look and let's put ourselves in that other person's position. What would you
Yes.
want someone to do for you if you were
Thank you.
hungry? What would you
Yes.
want someone to do for you if it was snowing in New York and you were
Yes.
freezing in the cold and people walk
Yes.
by you? Let's
Yes.
learn and let's be
Yes.
more, as Dr. Olawole said, let's be humane and let's treat
Yes.
each other as human beings and one
Yes.
big team, one big family.
Man.
Let's do
Yes, sir.
that and let's make 2022 a
Yep.
year where we all can do this for each other. Thank you
Yes.
for
Yes.
tuning in. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. But the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet